Sure. Arf. Hello. My name is Lucy Carr, and my talk revolves around animal and human communication and all of their mind-boggling language skills that could practically reflect a person speaking. Did you know that bees dance when they find nectar? This intrigued me and put a smile on my face because I'm not sure that I tango every time I make a PB&J, but I am sure that animals, whether they tango or not, have genius and creative methods of communication. So, how do they communicate? Well, the animal kingdom is filled with several unique strategies of communication. It can be any process of passing information from one animal to another, causing a response in the receiving animal. Communication is often passed between a single species, but can also be transferred to separate species. For example, my cousin's dog may wag her tail to express her emotions to my uncle. What forms can streams of communications take between animals? Well, animal senses vary quite a lot. Animals with an exquisite sense of smell, such as dogs, are dotted all over the animal kingdom. The same goes for the other senses. Because of this sensory distinction, different animals communicate using an extremely wide range of signals. Some common types of signals include pheromones, chemicals, auditory cues, sounds, visual cues, and tactile cues, touch. Pheromones are excreted chemicals signals that spark responses in the members of the same species. They are particularly common among social insects, such as ants and bees. A squashed ant will erupt a burst of pheromones that warn a nearby ant of danger. Dogs can also use pheromones to communicate. They sniff each other to gather this chemical information, and many of their chemicals are even released in their urine. Auditory communication is especially used by birds, who use chirps to send warnings, attract mates, and defend territories. Also, dolphins produce various noises that include whistles, chirps, and clicks, and organize them in complex patterns. Visual communication involves signals that can be seen. Chimpanzees direct a threat at the member of the species by raising their arms, slapping the ground, or staring into the eyes of another chimpanzee. Also, the vibrant coloration of some toxic species, such as the poison dart frog, send a signal and warn a predator to steer clear of it. Nevertheless, we haven't found if they truly have language. To get to the bottom of this, we can inspect 4 different elements that are frequently associated with language: grammar, displacement, productivity, and discreteness. Grammar sets essential boundaries that instruct us on how to combine individual units like sounds or words. Displacement is the ability to have a conversation about something that is not in front of you. Almost as if your mind could time travel, discussing events that occurred in the past, future, and even completely unimaginable fantasies are ways to have this feature of language. Having the quality of productivity gives us the ability to show the colors of infinite messages using language. Discreteness means that there are assortments of respective units that can be linked like a chain to express a thought and reveal a sentence, like rearranging the letters in Scrabble to uncover different words. So, do any of the members of the animal kingdom bear these kinds of elements? For certain animals, yes, but others, no. Let's take a journey in the feet, well, actually claws, of a crab. Crabs don't connect their signals in any creative ways. The signals they communicate also don't have proper grammatical order. But certain animals turn out to productively display some of these properties. One language trait that bees and prairie dogs have in common is displacement. Bees use the moves, perspectives, span of time, and force of their dances to share the location and richness of a food source. The alarm calls of prairie dogs cleverly indicate their predator's size, speed, and shape to fellow friends. Crazily, they can even describe the clothing that the specific predator, in this case a human, is wearing. Great apes are also interestingly impressive communicators. Some have shockingly even learned a modified version of sign language. For example, one chip demonstrated discreteness, bringing together several signs into one to share her original phrases. There are countless other examples of intricate animal communication, such as the whistles, chirps, and clicks flowing from one dolphin to another, but none of these examples display all 4 of the language qualities. Though even the brightest of these animals cannot yet rise above the language abilities of the average human 3-year-old, we never know what might come next in the animal kingdom. As we have learned, animals communicate with us in several bizarre ways. We humans have special relationships and bonds with our pets, and we certainly talk to them consistently. But which animals truly do understand our language? Well, a shocking 62% of pet owners confidently claim that their pets understand the words that they speak. My brothers and I once were flipping around for channels to watch on the TV when we suddenly met an unrealistic show where a parent invention wizard supposedly managed to create something that could convert animal dialogue into English. I was personally skeptical about this, and it got my mind churning a whole lot of thoughts and brainstorming if there was a way to know how much animals truly do grasp and follow from our speech. While there's no way to know exactly how much little Munchkins understands from your mouth, it is safe to say scientists have proven that some dogs, apes, and even dolphins can understand spoken language. In one study, both beautifully bright border collies, Rico and Chaser, demonstrated their knowledge of human speech. Rico could distinguish the names of more than 200 objects and could fetch these items on command, while Chaser further painted the picture of the information they gathered on human language, recognizing the names of at least 1,022 objects, and even inferring the names of new objects. For instance, if he was given the request to fetch Mr. Monkey, a toy he hadn't been familiar with, he could locate him through the process of elimination when the monkey was near toys he hadn't seen before. If this isn't mind-blowing, consider the case of Kanzi, an incredibly intelligent bonobo ape. Through years of hard work with his trainer, Kanzi had the ability to demonstrate his perception of more than 3,000 English words. A researcher would deliver him the words from a separate room to prevent any contextual clues to be swiped, and Kanzi would listen intently through his headphones, pointing to a signal represented by the word on his special keyboard. Incredibly, the ape was able to respond to directions such as, "Put the soap in the water." Perhaps even more intriguing is the compelling study in 1984 of the irresistible pair of bottlenose dolphins, who indicated that they were able to understand full sentences. Computer-generated sounds and hand signals were used to communicate with the dolphins, who were capable of following fairly complicated instructions ranging from 2 to 5 words in length. The dolphins could also detect items placed in their tank a complete 30 seconds after commands were given, or report to their trainers when the commands they distributed were beyond their bounds of execution. By now, we have learned how animals communicate with each other, but how do they communicate with us? If you have ever owned a cat or dog, you know you're way ahead, and you know that they pass information to us a great deal. They understand our basic commands, and I assure you that most pets naturally understand the word treat. This can also be flip-flopped. Pets can clearly communicate simple messages to you. They will put the puzzle pieces together that they are hungry or thirsty by leading you to their food dish or giving you those irresistible puppy dog eyes. A simple scratch on the door might translate to, "I need the potty." A slobber-covered face might mean, "I'm so excited to see you," when you return home from school. Different animals use different clues to let us infer their mood. They can convey messages to us in loads of nonverbal ways. For instance, a dog wagging its tail or spinning around can indicate a wide variety of emotions and messages. I know that a very territorial mother bird once gave me the stink eye after my sisters and I helped her young bird stay away from danger. One time, a seemingly frustrated chipmunk even left us a not-so-friendly deposit in our car shortly after my brother sprayed it with water. And before I start a conversation about my new fear of chipmunks, let me tell you that animals have clever, fascinated, and sometimes quite rude ways of talking to us. In my opinion, it's safe to say that the waves of communication between animals and humans is washed ashore and returned back out, but since they don't prove to have their own languages, can they mimic ours? In April 2010, an inhabitant of an enclosure at the Cologne Zoo in Germany named Tilda was an extremely gifted orangutan who shocked us all with her incredible talent. She was accompanied by Adriana Lemuria, attendant of the University of St. Andrews, and focuses on determining how human consonants and vowels evolved from great ape vocal behavior. He was setting up his camera in front of the enclosure while inside it. Tilda was clapping her hands, smacking her lips, whistling, but that's not all. As the camera continued rolling, she let out a series of deep-throated, human-like garbled noises, which sounded like an extremely deep human voice. Lemuria was completely flabbergasted. These were not only different from whatever we have heard from wild orangutans so far, but we could also see some similarities with human speech, he mentioned, jaw dropped. Tilda was born in 1965 and was captured from the island of Borneo. She is among the first of our closest cousins that could successfully imitate human-like noises. But could she actually imitate our speech? Lemuria's team found that her sounds were strikingly similar to human speech. Their rapid rhythm almost flawlessly mirrored a human speaking. Interestingly enough, she appeared to be stringing together vowel and consonant-like sounds. Though we humans, the best vocal learners, can produce countless different sounds, beluga whales, songbirds, parrots, dolphins, and even elephants can mimic our speech. Thank you.